back to the Age of Decadence.
The Age of Decadence!
The Age of Decadence. Like, dents in a wall in a car? Arthur dents? All the above?
It's time to be a guy who does a lot of talking.
That's right. Okay. Remember how to play this game. Right click to move. Oh, actually, I don't need to go out here, I don't think. I think I just go to the map. Yeah, we're leaving our starting town, Taron, a little town where we can very slightly move this map, which is weird. I don't know why we could do that.
Well, presumably, eventually more of it opens up.
I guess, but then I don't know why I can move it right now.
Well,
Oh.
because they built in the movement controls inherently, and, like...
But didn't clamp the map at this point to,
Well, they clamped it very slightly, but not all the way.
Right, like just off a little bit. So yeah, Taron's this little town. The former empire was run by the noble house that we are loyal to. We dealt with some bandits last time and some intrusions from the more powerful house. I think this Aurelian, I think, was the guys who were at this mining outpost. So. We got the bandits to kill them, and then also killed the bandits. You're right.
Well, I mean, you didn't kill the bandits; they killed each other.
Right. That's what I meant. Yeah. We let the bandit leader go. We did give him his money.
And he gave you a battery.
He did, yes, which we used to power up the forge.
Yeah.
In the autumn, like industrial mining and forge, or smelt. I guess it's a smelter, not a forge. That we didn't make it powerful enough to smelt blue steel.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. So yeah, we've now been sent to Madaran, this larger city, where House Aurelian is, I think. And we have a map of some kind of prophesied something. I don't think we really understand what we're doing, but our boss has, is convinced he's the Messiah. So
our boss sent us to do something, so we're gonna do it.
Chosen one, as opposed to the religious chosen one, which is a different guy. Although we did convince someone we were that guy.
Well, no, we didn't convince him we were the Messiah. We just convinced him we followed the Messiah.
Yeah. But we were like an important person.
Well, I think it was that, like, it was... You convinced him that was, like, a destiny that you two would meet.
Yeah. Alright. So, let us go to Madaran. You can see even on the map here the little, like, minarets and the like, dome thing. Yes, any unsolved events will unfold without you. Yeah, I think we've dealt with everything we can deal with. Okay. Taking the demise of the Imperial Guards at the hands of the boatmen as a good men. Well, it's not like a thing that happened accidentally, like or incidentally. he had us do that.
Well,
I guess it's just like, it worked.
and
That's a good sign.
was it Antitus that had you do it, or because I thought it was like whatever his.
Right, the second guy, yes.
Yeah,
But I
he might have
thought,
just not been told.
yeah, I assumed maybe Antitus was in on that, but I guess maybe not. It's like, I don't want to bother the boss with this. We gotta. Yeah. Lord Antitus steps up the recruitment efforts of House Daratan. Pardons are granted to bandits and raiders willing to serve the house, and mercenaries are hired en masse with the Commercium's gold. Oh, that. Okay, I'm sure that'll go well. Without the Imperial Guard to keep the newly arrived fighting men in check, the town quickly descends into near lawlessness, becoming little more than a camped mercenary army, waiting for the order to march. Great. We've done good. Though Antitus seems to hold the reins of the Sellsword Legion. The Sellsword Legion, okay. It is the Commercium who pays their wages, and the only loyalty a mercenary truly recognizes is to the one who pays him. By becoming the paymaster for the entire Legion, the Commercium effectively becomes Antitus' shadow partner, greatly expanding their influence and control over local trade. Okay. That's fun. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Backed by that Legion, the Commercium's influence grows rapidly alongside their control over local trade. How long does it take for us to go to this city?
Don't worry too much about it.
It didn't seem that far away, but maybe that, I guess that's a very, gestural map. That's not meant to represent distance pretty clearly. The Commercium's influence grows rapidly alongside their control of local trade. Bored and seeking entertainment, the camped mercenaries spend their coins at the Commercium's establishments almost as quickly as they earn them, making it a very profitable enterprise indeed. Master Cassius has replaced Fang, becoming Lord Antitus' personal lore master. Unfortunately, there is little for him to do in Terran. Thus, House Daratan does not benefit from Cassius' vast knowledge of the lore of the olden days. That's interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
I wonder if we didn't start the smelter, if he would be able to do that. Yeah, we do not have a car, that is true. I don't know if you've even seen, like, horses. Failing to get rid of Cassius, Master Feng has left Terran, according to rumors has resurfaced in Ganazar, quickly gaining Lord Mayor's trust and favor. So that's the city where the third house is. And that's where the prophet is, of the new cult. Using his own beliefs against him, you've managed to convince a preacher of Ganazar that you're the chosen one. As a result, you can expect assistance from every faithful and a warm reception in Ganazar, should you stick to your role. When the news of the attack reaches Madaran, House Daratan expresses their regret at the senseless bloodshed, and reminds House Aurelian about the dangers of operating that far from Madaran. Lord Antius asserts this is the Madaran that the raiders have been dealt with, and the mind has been taken under Daratan's control to safeguard the machines. We let Esmenis go. He was at our mercery. He put the money you gave him to good use, gathering a large group of raiders and proceeding to make a name for himself, raiding and pillaging, but staying away from Terran. No matter how you look at it, he owes you. Great. Didn't sign up to be part of the Sellsword Legion.
Nope. He made his choice. He's a raider through and through.
That's true. He did tell us that he got his whole life story. After a few weeks of travel, alright, that happened in a few weeks, apparently. Madaran's marble minarets and sandstone domes finally appear out of the shimmering desert. Once the jewel of the Empire, it is now a city of crumbling ruins and forgotten glory. The rivers that fed it dry, its once fertile fields now barren rock and endless drifting sand. The Mataran was once the jewel of the Empire. Interesting, and there's that giant hole. The Great War devastated Mataran. Almost a quarter of its citizens died in the arcane blast that created the infamous Abyss. The sickness that followed it nearly succeeded in wiping out the rest, but cities rarely die with dignity. Man returned to Mataran, scavengers seeking to loot the treasures of the past, oblivious to the weight of history around them as they squabbled over food and gold. Alright, here we are. Oh, whoops. I'm gonna have to, like, remember what the, God. How did I do this to myself again? Where I am playing a similar genre of game at the same time and having to reorient myself with controls every time. What's the, like, tab? Okay.
The fact that keeps happening is very funny.
Uh-huh. Okay, I guess that just says Mataran Inn. That's the door to the inn. Kemnebi. What do you want? I was just curious what line of work you're in. The kind I don't talk about with people I don't know.
Damn, okay.
Get a lot of customers that way. Clericus. What a name. You're too late.
I wonder if he's a cleric.
Says a man standing next to an empty stall when you approach him. The caravan just left. It'll take weeks for the next one's ready to depart. Where do you send caravans to? These days, mostly Ganazar and Kaer Tor. As Mara and Kipper are gone, Terran's about to join them. We need markets for our goods and local goods to take back to cover the costs and turn some profit. There are a couple of mining villages that can make a trip there worthwhile, but they're an exception rather than the norm. It's Mara and Kipper. The Imperial Guards took over Kipper 2 decades back and ran it into the ground, as Mara fell a few years ago. 2 lordlings tore it apart after their father's death. The way the story is told, the younger son gathered enough support and deposed his older brother, somehow managed to escape, hired every mercenary company willing to fight for a cut of the action, and returned to claim the throne. The siege went on for years. By the time the town fell and the mercenary companies took what they considered a fair share, there wasn't much left of it. Why didn't the Imperial Guard step in? The guards said that the charter doesn't allow them to interfere in the internal affairs of houses, but the way I see it, the weaker the houses, the stronger the guards. At any rate, I don't see them putting their ass on the line just to prop up some lordling. What can you tell me about Ganazar? It's a lovely town, built in cascading levels around the castle that gave the town its name, so the view alone is worth the trip. The archways of the low town become the walkways of the skyport. Quite a sight, my friend. There's nothing like that left anymore. The locals are getting too obsessed with gods and worship, but maybe it's better than being obsessed with money and power, huh? I find it rather charming, to be honest. The Skyport. It's one of the districts. The story says that flying ships used to dock there, and it does have these strange platforms, but they could have been used for just about anything, if you ask me. Of course, flying ships and chariots make a better story, so who am I to argue? Can you tell me about Kaer Tor? You've seen one military fort, you've seen them all. This one's just much bigger than all the others combined, but they keep it simple. Rows of barracks, granary, cookhouse, hospital, and a praetorium. Its entire splendor is surrounded by walls to keep the guards from running away in the middle of the night, no doubt. Villages? They pop up here and there like mushrooms after rain, but most don't last. It's hard to make it out on your own out there. I think they can grow some crops because they did so well behind the shacks in the city, but a few acres fields in the middle of nowhere is a different game. It takes more water for one, and water is fickle these days. One year you have enough to cover 3 fields, the next barely enough for one. There are a lot more birds and animals to watch for and guard your harvest against. And the rot. Once it starts spreading, you're as good as done. My uncle was a farmer, always talking about the rot. Alright, like a blight? I guess there's horses. A local guide. The Grab-A-Bite Tavern.
Excellent name.
10 Imperials, yells a man standing in the middle of the street. For only 10 Imperials to get a tour of our glorious city and have all your questions answered. I'm not going to stand here all day, so it's a limited time opportunity only. I don't think we need a guide. Let's go check out in the inn, I guess. Scammer for sure. Yeah, it's like, this guy's probably going to... Oh. You see a grizzled old fellow haggling with the innkeeper over a dish of scraps and a cup of watered wine. When they reach an agreement, the old man pulls the cup towards him for a long sip, savoring his drink. Reluctantly pours the rest into a bowl of yesterday's rice. Works the wine into the rice, which, along with half an onion, comprises his meal. After finishing, he lets his gaze linger a moment on the empty bowl before turning, with a dispirited sigh, to address the common room. A tale, he says in a hoarse voice, before pausing to cause explosively. Hearken everyone to a most wondrous tale, a tale I offer exclusively to the most distinguished patrons of the most illustrious establishment. Yeah, wine, rice, onion, slurry. Sounds great. Sure, we'll listen to this guy's story. Look around you, my friends. No, not these four walls, you dolts. Look in wonder on the glorious city of Mataran. Countless cities and towns, village, hamlets have crumbled into dust, or been submerged beneath the waves, or swallowed by the desert sands, but Mataran survives. For 10,000 years, the mighty capital has stood, and for 10,000 years, it will continue to stand, watching over... I heard the city was 1,000 years old, interrupts a surly-looking metal worker in the crowd. And where did you hear that, pray tell? The storyteller seems to grow in stature, looking down at the man with disdain. I was born here, as was my father, and my father's father, and his father before him. So which of us knows best, my gritty friend? Now set aside for a while the cackling of geese in the market, which is often mistaken for wisdom, and you will learn something of this city of all cities we are all so fortunate to call home. Mataran was old and wise, already a place of philosophers and statesmen, when the Empire was nothing but an upstart kingdom. Yes, they were brawlers, full of strength and bluster. Let us give violence its due. But what would have been their end without our art, our knowledge, our wisdom? The Empire had their legions, my esteemed comrades, but there's a limit to what can be accomplished through brutality. Add culture and knowledge to your strength, and you have a potent force. The old empire has fallen to dust, a heap of cracked stones where once stood mighty walls. Of ancient Alium nothing remains but faded diagrams on a handful of mildewed scrolls. Mataran alone stands, her glory scornful of the passing of mere men, of time and decay, her nobles and lords unfazed by... I came inside to get away from the wind, not bathe in it. You get to the tale before you crumble away yourself.
Sassy people.
This is an interesting idea here, though. I'm getting to the tale. He smiles still, but his eyes are tight with anger. I know that such learned folks as yourselves must all have heard that dismal and storied ruin, that place of terror and woe, commonly named the Abyss. Well, there are rumors, there are tales, and there is truth. I will wager a meal that no one here has heard the truth. And you know this truth? I certainly do, the storyteller snaps, for an instant unable to conceal the weary and bitter man he's become. I happened in my travels upon a lore master walking alone at the edge of the desert. His apprentice had died on the road the week before, and worse luck, his mule soon after. The lore master himself was clinging to life by the barest thread. I shared my water with him, the only wealth I had to offer, for I am, as you see, a humble man, and in his gratitude he gifted me his finest scroll, a first-hand account of that poisoned zone which history has named the Abyss. This was 10 years ago, and the scroll itself is now lost, but luckily for you, my friends, I have committed it entire to the vault of my mind. He taps a finger meaningfully on one temple. Still, 10 years is 10 years, and a few of the details may be mixed up, but I promise it is worth your time, and a coin or two besides. It was during the final days of the Great War. He begins with a drama running close to the ridiculous. When Earth and sky were riven by terrible weapons, when catastrophe chased disaster, entire cities vanished overnight, tens of thousands extinguished like candle flames swamped by the sea. Yet Madaran was impregnable, for no army could breach her mantle of magic. Any who approached were destroyed without mercy, like ants treading on a bed of hot coals. But our enemies were as clever as they were relentless. One night the city's magi tracked several new stars in the night sky, stars which moved but did not burn out and disappear as their more common brothers. They declared this a dark omen, and commanded the minarets and spires to cast their nets just as these cursed beacons began to fall into the city. They were too late, however. One star escaped these nets to land at the venerable District of Wisdom. That was the time when sun dawned in darkest night, and the thunder that arose made the gods themselves tremble. When the real sun rose in the east, you could see that the District of Wisdom was no more. What is left, we now call the Abyss. So you're saying they nuked him?
Yes. Probably.
He's definitely, describing missiles. That's not the end of my story. With that cruel dawn, a strange, misshapen man appeared at the gates. He was haggard and wan, and stumbled as though wounded, yet raw power crackled the air around him. And when he gestured, the steel gates, 12 feet high, crumpled as if no more than paper in his closed fist. The guards who rushed to meet him bent like reeds in a gale, but from the wind that bowed them, they would never spring back. In that instant, the city was doomed, for this creature wasn't a man at all, but a demon conjured in the unspeakable rituals of our enemies. There was, however, one who dared to oppose him, Abu Hassan ibn Harad al-Sarabi, first of the Magi. Though the lords of the city all knew him to be doing their good work 1,000 miles from Madaran, he had somehow appeared in her direst need to stand calmly waiting in the path. The twisted creature sneered at the world's greatest magus, using the familiar form of greeting, an insult to such a powerful man. Oh no! He called him, ye instead of you. Asked if he still thirsted for knowledge man wasn't meant to know. Calmly the magus replied that his thirst had been quenched a long time ago, and that his power and that of his seals had grown stronger since their last meeting, as the state of the demon's forlorn and raggedy host did attest. Yeah, hey bro. The demon had no witty reply to this, but reared up as if to strike him down. To the astonishment of everyone present, including the demon himself, his own limbs refused to obey him. His ribs cracked inward with a sound like twigs breaking, his legs buckled beneath him, and his eyes turned white, leaving him blind. Sealed within his ruined human form, he was unable to do anything but growl and curse. What did they do with the demon? Inquired the scribe softly. Sometime during the story, the patron's taunts and grumbling had faded away, and everyone sat on the edge of his chair, fists clenched, wine forgotten. That detail the scroll did not reveal. But I would venture the demon is locked away for eternity in the most impregnable sort of prison or vault. I mean, what else would you do with such a being? Did the scroll mention the name of that demon? It did, says the storyteller. He's befuddled for a moment since you're clearly the first person to ask him that. Balzarath? Balzarub? It was an evil sound, like the vinegar on the tongue. Okay. Balzabub. What were the Magi working on before the attack on the city? The scroll didn't say. All I can tell you is that the grandest and tallest buildings in the city was the House of Magi, a dozen golden towers and silver arches hovering over the city. It was written that the highest pinnacle pierced the clouds, and the lowest catacomb dug deep into the earth, anchoring the tower in place. Can you see now what was lost? When will we ever rebuild such splendor? How? A tower to heaven. The Abyss used to be called the District of Wisdom. That's correct. It was the heart of Madaran, a place of temples, libraries, and schools. Granted, all I saw was an old drawing, but the image left me speechless and filled my heart with sorrow. Our masters say that the answer to any question could be found in the District of Wisdom, if one knew where to look and whom to ask. Men would come from all over the land to seek out our wisdom. Now the only thing they seek here are the whores. Okay. It was like a vast library. Not wholly inaccurate, but it was also much more than that. The ancients mined knowledge the way slaves mine ore. This city boasted the best magi, algebraists, topologists, alchemists, engineers, and astronomers. Madaran had them all in one place. They walked these streets, breathed the same air, gazed upon the same stars. It was a time of wonder. What do you know about the gods? Old wives' tales, says the old man dismissively. Men of wisdom won the war, not gods. Let these gods strike me down if I lie. Okay. Well, that was all interesting, I guess. Where are you? A drunken man yelling at the patrons and waving around his spear. Accustomed to his outbursts, the patrons seem to be ignoring him. Couldn't help but notice it's a damn good spear. Steel, custom made.
Are you going to steal his spear?
Nice spear. Nice spear! Ha! The spear made me a champion of the fucking arena back when the title meant something. Shoves the spear in your face, presumably for a closer look. Just ignore him, says one of the patrons. Cadmos is always like that when he starts drinking. Is he really a champion? Hard to believe, huh? Should have seen him 10 years ago when he was in his prime. Now he's a pale shadow of what he once was. I'm not gonna provoke Cadmos. I don't think that's a good idea, regardless of how sloshed he is. It's just to the rooms. I guess you can go out to the... Oh no, it's barred. We can just walk around anyway. Alright. There's this tavern here. Of course, we gotta check out the, what is it, Grab-A-Bite? Yeah, Grab-A-Bite. The cheapest place to eat around here. Catering to less discerning patrons who favor quantity over quality. Is that what it is? Basilios, proprietor of the establishment. That's a hell of a name. Okay. Also, I need to remember is, okay, F5 is still a quick save. Oh. You hear the sounds of drums announcing the arrival of a caravan, and almost immediately crates, barrels, and sacks start flowing through the gates, followed by chained, dust-covered slaves and tired guards. Once inside the gates, the new arrivals are dealt with a surprising speed and efficiency. Slaves are taken to the auction block, paid for cargo delivered to the consignees, guards paid and discharged to boost the local economy. All that's left are small-time traders hoping to sell their goods at a profit in a big city, and the vultures that prey on them, levy collectors who take all they can, and cutthroats who take everything, including their lives. One of the traders shakes his head and turns away from the levy collector to think it over. Almost immediately, he's approached by two rough-looking men who whisper something in his ear. The trader, still in a shade of stock, accepts their generous offer, much like a drowning man grasps at straws, and follows them to his doom. This is gonna get us killed.
Yes, but you'll feel mildly better about it.
They follow them into a nearby alley, arriving just in time to... You follow them into a nearby alley, arriving just in time to witness the last act of the drama. Parroting of the fool and his gold, and possibly life. The thugs, now 3 of them, regard you an extra bonus, 2 for the price of 1. What do we have here? Inquires one of the thugs, a skinny man with deep-seated eyes, surrounded by dark circles. Is that what you do for a living? Rob and kill the newcomers? How's that any of your business? Sure. I'm new to the city, and I need some spending money. You'll pay me half of each take, and in return, we're gonna threaten him. You
have a 0 body count!
Do you have an idea who you're talking to, you stupid little fuck? Do you? Oh no! Okay, there is a Streetwise out, so we just didn't have enough. That's good. We could get some more Streetwise.
Yeah.
God, our Streetwise is at 4, but okay. Let's try 5. Make sure. Streetwise, Boulevard Foolish. Did we say get out of here? Yeah. Easy there, friend. We're leaving, says the thug, raising his hands to show that he leaves in peace. Okay.
Gain new insight into the liberal arts.
The liberal arts of bluffing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how to thank you, says the traitor, being visibly shaken. They would have killed me. The bastards would have
Yes,
killed me and
they
taken
would have.
everything. Hesitates for a moment, then makes a decision. Removes a well-adorned dagger from his belt. It's been in my family for generations. My father gave it to me before I left. He told me that once unsheathed, it can solve any dispute, but I just couldn't bring myself to draw it. Yeah, it wouldn't have solved this dispute. I mean, not in your favor, anyway. May it serve you better than it served me, stranger. Okay. Cool. Let's look at this fancy dagger. Is that it? Yeah, I guess that's it. The Arbiter.
Oh yeah, I played Halo.
Yeah, the Arbiter's a dagger, that's right.
Yeah.
Special enchantment. Sure. It's got a big bonus to hit, I guess. Slightly worse critical strike. The door is locked. You push it, testing the strength of the lock, and hear the sound of a crossbow being cocked. You best leave it alone. Yeah. Typical Madaran courtyard, a cul-de-sac formed by houses built next to each other, smaller dwellings and sheds added later. Buried had stone well and an old campfire surrounded by worn-out tree trunks serving as makeshift benches and empty bottles. One of the better-looking buildings on the block, undoubtedly belonging to the prosperous citizens of the district. Prosperity is manifested by 3 wives, a dozen of dirty-looking children, and an oversized antique pot hanging over the fire, smelling of lambs and spices. Okay. Alright, well, back to the... Can we talk to the, No. Alright, the Arena Master. Arena Master looks at you appraisingly, gives you the most convincing fake smile you've ever seen, beckoning you to come closer. Judging by the number of rings on his fingers, business is good. Look what crawled out of some shithole and made its way to our glorious city. Oh, what's left of it. Seeking your fortune in the big city, I take it. How about a job in the entertainment industry? The best kind of entertainment. Fight in the arena to amuse the crowd and make a name for yourself. Everything your victims have is yours. What do you say? No. I am trying to not die. Amateur store. Gladiator gear. Guess that makes sense. You have anything special? Special? You've heard about Zagreus the Mad? No? He was the best gladiator I've seen. Quick as lightning and about as merciful. He's captured in battle and sent to the arena to die for his sins. He refused to die and killed everyone they sent against him. Hacked them to pieces like a madman, hence the name. Eventually, he was pardoned and given freedom, but he had nothing to go back to, so he stayed at the arena, forged himself his own armor, Marmillo style, and kept on fighting. He wore the mantle of the champion for 9 years, which has got to be some kind of record. And what happened to him? He got old, lost some of his famous speed, and paid for it with life. He was challenged by 3 brothers. The only name I remember is Ronan, for he was the one who killed Zagreus, ran him through with his spear. In his prime, Zagreus would have torn them apart with his bare hands, but he was no longer in his prime. He should have never agreed to this fight. Not 1 against 3, but he wasn't the type to back out from a challenge. And let me guess, you have his armor. I do! The helmet and arm guard, forged from the finest iron ore, as good as any steel. I won't sell them separately, so don't ask, but I'll give you a good price. 1,200 imperials for the pair. No. I don't need your fancy armor. Or allegedly fancy armor. Marmillos were a replacement for the Gallus, a different style of gladiator. Okay. Imperial Guards. Wow, no one has any respect for us here.
Why would they?
Because we're noble. But in the service of a shitty house, no one cares now.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, we're looking for Domitius Ulpius. Not had the opportunity to ask anyone about that yet. Stopped using the Gallus because it was no longer politically useful to protect Gauls, the default enemy of Rome. It's a fairly big house with a rough stone floor, partially covered with moth-eaten carpets. Walls that were painted at least a century ago, and salt curtaining hanging from the ceiling. Okay. There's an exit to the trade district. The Palace of Treasure. Pleasure, rather. I don't think we need to go in there. No water to be had from this fountain. Grungy streaks cover the arena makes you think that blood is a more obtainable commodity in these parts. Wretched looking house with a damp floor and crude furniture put together from rod boards salvaged elsewhere. Well, that doesn't seem good. A fallen minaret blocks your way, marking the end of the district. The gate still stands, but you can see nothing save for some ruins behind it. Step closer, the temporary occupants of the minaret, several beggars resting on filthy straw beds, give you hard looks, but don't move an inch. Oh boy. As you walk down the street, you hear shouts and see an angry crowd pursuing several men. They chase them into a nearby house and start discussing the best way to smoke them out. A lone guard shows up and tries to calm the tensions, but without visible success. Alright. Different styles of gladiator and what political end they're tailored to is one of THV's tabletop RPG obsessions. It is a cool idea. Burn them! Yells a red-faced burly man in a dirty tunic pointed at the house. The crowd seems to share its animosity toward the house's inhabitants. Nobody's burning anything in my district, says the guard meekly. He tries to infuse his words with authority, but he isn't eager to risk his life to restore order, which only emboldens the crowd. What's going on? It's the Nutters, sighs the guard. Now that they've got some numbers behind them, things are starting to get out of control. Earlier, they went through the district shouting, pushing over carts, pissing people off. There was a fight. 3 dead, dozen wounded. The preacher and his cronies hold in there, he nods at the house, and now these idiots want to burn the house down, and half a district with it. The Nutters. The mouth breathers who follow these preachers around, eating up every word and asking for more. We didn't see it coming when it started. These preachers were talking crazy, but nobody listened, so what's the harm, right? Then something changed. Suddenly they were drawing crowds. People were repeating their shit like it meant something. And now we have bloody riots in the middle of the day. What preachers? Ever since Mara went nuts and started talking about God, some people took it upon themselves to spread his teaching and bring the fucking light to our darkness. Now, as far as I know, the preachers never said a word about attacking the unbelievers, but maybe they didn't have to. Make a man feel righteous, there's no telling how far he'll go. What do they preach? The usual shit. The godless will be punished, the righteous will be saved. You need help? You keep the crowd in check while I go and get more men to handle it properly? Sure. The guard leaves you in charge and quickly walks away. The crowd gets its hopes up and moves a few steps closer. That preacher ain't going nowhere, says the burly man. We've had enough of his shit. Preacher will be dealt with in accordance with the laws of House Aurelian. Any attempt to rob our lord of his right to dispense punishment will be considered a grave insult, punishable by removal of the offender's right arm. Alright, says the burly man, spitting and narrowly missing her feet. Have it your way. But if we ever catch this fucker in our neighborhood, he's ours. Wait for the crowd to leave. Go inside the house. You see a man with a thin face, a narrow aquiline nose, and fire in his eyes. This must be the preacher. Behind him stand 2 men. I don't know why that must be the preacher. Roughed up and bloodied. Who are you? Asked the preacher. Oh good, we got peacemaker reputation. Oh, chosen one!
It's time to play the part.
Uh-huh. I had a vision today. I saw this house burned to the ground. I saw the faithful weeping over your charred body. I saw the wicked rejoicing and the darkness growing. The preacher nods, still in shock after the ordeal. The images conjured by your words mirror his fears, making it easy to accept your claim without questioning it. A man, his face glowing with inner lighted beauty, appeared next to me, looking at the carnage and anger. This shall not come to pass, he told me. There will be light in the darkness, and you shall be my torchbearer. A torchbearer. I came here as fast as I could, guided by the divine will. As the wicked fell on me, I shouted at them to stop, and somehow my voice became a thunderous roar, throwing the wicked back. You shall not pass! I shouted, and the earth shook and trembled. An immense chasm opened and swallowed the wicked to the last man. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would not believe such things as possible. You might be going a little too far.
I think you're laying it on a little thick.
They're dead? Asked the preacher in disbelief. All of them? The gods truly work their miracles through you then. They've chosen you for a reason. They have. Only a fool or a blasphemer would deny that now. Return to Ganazar. Tell them the will of the gods is about to be worked upon Madaran. Tell them to stand ready to render assistance. Gods have other tasks for me here. Tell them I will bring word when the time is right. Go now.
Jesus Christ.
The preacher bows and walks out, taking his followers with him. Great. Good. What is our Okay, getting better with Crassus. Oh. Okay, well, solve that problem. Great.
Uh-huh.
Let's see, what's this? This is the slums. There's a youth here to talk to. Slightly awkward, light-haired youth, scarcely out of his teens. I couldn't
love
help
talking to the youths.
Yeah. How do you do? I couldn't help but notice you're heading for the slums, says the youth in so much manner. I was wondering if you'd do me a favor in exchange for a reasonable remuneration, of course. He adds quickly, trying to sound businesslike. What's the favor? I entered into a business arrangement with a certain individual who goes by the name of Neros. He asked me to procure certain goods and deliver them to him. Yet, now that I'm about to do it, I find myself being torn by doubts and fears. Such as, I must confess that I've never been to the slums, and find the task to be more intimidating than what I've originally envisioned. Well, see, this teen is a dork. That's They say it's a lawless place where a man's life is worth nothing. Not to mention that I can't help but wonder if Neros is going to pay me what he promised. After all, what stops him from cutting my throat? Touches his throat uncomfortably and taking the goods for nothing. So, where do I come in? You seem to have a certain air about you. I don't think that Neros would dare play games with you. He promised to pay me 3,000 Imperials. I'd be willing to part with 500 Imperials if you were to deliver the package and collect the money. What's in the package? Black powder, sulfur, salpetre, saltpeter? I don't know what that is. Things of that nature. Why does Neros need these things? I don't see how it's any of my business, or yours for that matter. Can't this Nero buy these things in the slums himself? Not if he wants quality. I doubt the Lord Gallius' own alchemist would take commission from the likes of Neros. Yet a young lordling is eager to do it for him. You say certain, I've lost a lot of money in a game of chance. It was rigged, I'm sure, so I refused to pay. The proprietor sold my debt to Neros. Okay, we'll see what happens. Thank you, says the youth with relief, handing you a heavy package. His house is somewhere around the old temple. He's told us he's fine. Oh, I see, okay, I misunderstood. So he's got the package from, like, the alchemist in the noble district, and he's delivering it into the slums. And he's afraid to go into the slums.
Yeah, because he's a dweeb.
Well, yeah, he's a noble's kid. Miserable shacks mark the beginning of the slums in Mataran. Chats coming from the arena. Okay. Okay, so we can go to... oh, they don't actually show up here, but I guess we've got the slums and the trade district for the two exits. Excuse me, I guess we can go to the slums first. You arrive at the infamous Mataran slums, greeted only by an impressive silence settling around you. Filth-clad figures pay you little notice as they paw through refuse piled against dilapidated buildings, yet you can feel hostile eyes watching you from the shadows. You're keenly aware that even the guard have long since chalked this place up as lost. Their patrol routes avoid the squalid maze of collapsed buildings and makeshift shelters. The only authority in here is the Thieves' Guild. You can just make out their headquarters in the distance, the shattered dome of the High Temple, an everlasting mockery that serves as a reminder of this district's fall from its former grandeur. Explore. You must be lost, says a man in his 50s, looking at you with interest. People who don't belong here don't come often, so they always stand out. I'm Leon. It's been more than 20 years since I've ended up in the slums. I thought I wouldn't last a day, and yet here I am. What do you want? An honest pay for an honest day's work, no more, no less. Heard about the slums, yes? It's not for the faint-hearted. So what you need is a local guide to keep the riffraff away from you, and you away from the riffraff. It's almost like 2 jobs in 1, but I only asked for 100 coins if you could spare it. I think I'm good. Is he not like a guy hanging out here?
Only an event man.
Well greets you with green-tinted, stagnant water. For a moment there, you think you see a distorted reflection of the water. But then you realize it's a bloated corpse. Suddenly, you no longer feel thirsty. The man's eyes light up with hope. Want to make some easy money? I found something nobody else did, but I can't do it alone, he says quickly. That's great, you consider. It's the real deal. I swear. Oh boy. Easy money is my specialty, friend. It's a whole district of scammers.
Uh-huh.
Down there, says the man pointing at the well. It's deeper, deeper than you think. Deeper than you think, huh? Dive deep enough and you'll find a passage. It's not long, about 50 yards. If you can hold your breath long enough, you'll reach a chamber filled with treasure. No! Why? It's... We saw Bassar knifing someone the other night. The man fell right in, so we figured that maybe, he had something valuable on him. So men dove right in, but didn't find the body. Instead, he found that pass I told you about. And where is he now? Well, he didn't make it back. He took it back to haul back all the loot, dove again, and that was the last time I saw him. Like, if you, get his share just for showing up. So, ready to dive? Sure, let's examine the well.
This is such a bad idea.
It's such a bad idea. Okay, apparently we can just try to go down, okay? I guess I'll save again. Go down. I'm sure I don't have, if there is like an actual skill check, I don't have it. You undress and lower yourself into the murky, foul-smelling water to let go of the well's edge. Oh god, it's gonna take our armor, like, patches. Can't see anything, and you aren't sure you want to, since the locals have a habit of dumping bodies here. Keep probing the walls, looking for the entrance, but find nothing. Continue sinking into the deep. While exploring the walls, looking for any signs of supposed interest. You're ready to give up, and your vault to your right ends abruptly, inviting you in. You squeeze yourself into a small opening in the brickwork and swim forward until you find yourself in a small chamber with a vaulted ceiling, high enough to contain a small pocket of air. You explore the chamber and find 3 passages leading in different directions. One appears to be sealed shut, but the other 2 seem to be safe to explore. Just a second.
Okay.
Alright. Let's go left. Passage leads you to a chamber with a partially collapsed roof. There's another passageway that's buried under rubble. Your arrival disturbs the water and wakes up the only inhabitant of the chamber. A bloated corpse greets you with a tentacle-like intestine sprouting from his open stomach.
Oh no.
I don't want to examine this. Yeah, okay. Passage seems to be endless. Before long, you feel tightness in your chest, signaling you're about to run out of air. For all you know, this passage could go on for miles, so maybe it's time to turn back, or you can. Yeah, we definitely have the dexterity and constitution for this.
Time to die.
Oh my god. Push yourself forward, trying not to think of the increasing tension in your chest and mounting fear. Soon you've reached another fork. You see some faint light coming from the left. Well, holding your breath because it's Titanic, you turn back to the first chamber. Okay. We can go right? Nope. Okay. We cannot make it. But it doesn't kill you.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
You know, maybe when we come back up. Also, you can't increase your base stats, so... Do I have my... Oh, I do. Well, it's down there. Well, I can't get it, buddy. I guess maybe you can use drugs. I guess you could do some alchemy. That might let you boost your dex and constitution temporarily. But I do not have the means for that either. Technically, you did well.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. Ah.
A dirty-looking man pops out of nowhere, blocking your way. Well, 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 says the man, almost too fast to understand. What do we have here? A new arrival? Not too clean for that. A lost sheep that strayed away from the shepherds? That's more like it, ain't it? Glancing around, you see more figures crawling out of the ruins to join his game. Thought I was here all by myself, did ya? Says the man, grinning proudly. Think again. I'm working for the guild, so if you know what's good for you, you'd best be on your way. Nah, says the man, shaking his head. I know a liar when I see one. I can hear a liar too, you know. You sing one song, but your voice sings a different one. Kill him, he shouts suddenly, his eyes almost popping out of his head. Tear him apart, limb by fucking limb. Alright. How many people are here? Oh, man, bums. Great. 4 of them. That we, definitely can't kill, I'm sure. I am curious, like, do we have, like, any chance of hitting these guys? Doesn't say. Okay, there we go. 45% chance. And that's it. Good. Ow. Ow. Why does he get to go again?
Well, he's actually good at fighting.
I don't know if that's true. getting close to killing one of these 4 guys. Oh god.
There we go.
Oh boy. Guess we need some more streetwise. Or impersonate.
Probably.
Let's get... Impersonate's probably useful. It is cheaper. Man turns and starts mumbling something. Tears running down his face. Suddenly he pulls a knife, starts cutting off one of his fingers. Oh my god. Wincing a chain. You notice he only has 4 fingers on his left hand, so it's not his first run-in with the guild. Jesus. That wasn't necessary. You see a small trading plaza up ahead. Rough-looking men are patrolling the area, collecting their revenues regularly and harassing random passerby. Alright. Haven't seen you before, says a large, sweaty man who appears to be in charge here. Who might you be? Just passing through. You're passing through the area, my area, like you own it. Didn't ask my permission to enter it, did you? Now we have a problem, all because of your ignorance of our customs. What are you gonna do about it? Relax, friend. I'm working for Levere. I don't know who Levere is. I don't know where I pulled that name from.
It's one you just heard while passing through.
How come I didn't see you here before? You shake down the tourists? I collect information in the trades. The less I'm seen here, the better. I wasn't born yesterday, friend. Oh my god, 1,000 Imperials. Well, I don't want to pay that. I guess I need some more, Jesus. There's so many people. What was that? More persuasion, impersonate again, I think?
Yeah, I don't remember what the second one was, but persuasion, definitely.
Thank you, impersonate. We'll do that. But this is down here, yeah. I mean, these are the only ways to go, other than, not going into this district. It's... Oh, streetwise shit. Okay, persuasion and streetwise. Put in a good word for me with Levere, would you? Okay. Thief. Look at all these guys. Nasty thieves. Fucking. This guy's got a shield. Sword. Uh-oh. Wolfswood thing. Temple. These people love crossbows.
Easy to wield.
Nero's drinking hole and debt collection. Alright. Guess we found where we're going. What do you want? That's Nero's. A skinny man with a scarred face. I have a package for you. You owe me 3,000 Imperials. You out of your fucking mind? Asked Nero's, taking the package and starting to unwrap it. As he pulls on some cord, the package explodes with a loud bang, splattering the room with blood and throwing you across the room!
Ah!
Neros' men rush inside. They look at what's left of their boss. Then they do to you. What the fuck happened here? I don't know. Someone asked you to deliver a package.
Guard.
You do that often? You deliver packages for other people? Do you really think I'd try to blow your boss while standing next to him? I got played, but if you help me find the fucker, I promise that he'll pay for this. Alright, let's say I believe you. I didn't think it was a matter of them believing you. I just wouldn't think they would care. Did your boss buy a gambling debt recently? He buys them all the time. It's good business. The Calvis kid. I thought we had him. He nearly shat himself when we had a little chat. Who knew, huh? You can find him in the Palace District. Alvis kid. Alright, I'm glad they just let me go. And they're just like, alright, go kill that kid. Uh-huh, alright. Great. One scum debt collector is dead, I guess. We're going to the Temple District. The maze-like streets and alleys open into a large square occupied by an old temple and a busy bazaar surrounding it. First time, asked the tall man dressed in comfortable robes, smiling pleasantly. I'm Clemens, the local doctor. You seem to be doing well. For someone who lives in the slums, you mean? It's not that bad, I assure you. The quest log calls the kid the fucker. Think of it as a poor province of a vast empire. Just because it's poor doesn't mean one can't do well here. There's nothing you can't buy here, if you have the coin. What is this area? It's our capital. This is where Levere holds his court and rules over his subjects. Since it's the safest area in the slums, everyone comes here to buy and sell without worrying about being robbed. Levere gets a cut, so everyone's happy. How did you end up here? Levere. He runs the 40 Thieves. That tells you all you need to know. They say he was born here, so the slums are his home. Obviously, he can afford to live anywhere he wants, but he stays here. It takes a rare kind of man to do that. I mean, let's face it, the grass is greener over there. but it means nothing to him. What's he after then? Power. What else? Like what he's done with the guild. They were always local power, but in my father's time they were staying in the shadows. Now they rule it openly, the way houses do. They live in interesting times, my friends, that's for sure. How did you end up here? A horse that was in my care decided it would rather die than live another day, and I had to take the blame. Well, in all honesty, it was my fault. Still, I never would have imagined that one animal, no matter how valuable, would outweigh years of loyal service. As I lost my job, my house, my wife, well, wives are an easily replaceable commodity, but I'd be lying if I told you that it didn't hurt. Wow. What happened then? I came here to die. In fact, I think I did die after a fashion, and then discovered there's life after death. I put my considerable talents to good use and started stitching wounds and mending broken bones. Don't give me that look, it's all the same. In fact, it's easier with people. Much higher survival rate. You see, horses are very delicate animals. No believing. A man...
People love talking about how horses die at the drop of a hat.
Nothing but an oversized cockroach that can live anywhere and survive almost anything. Almost anything? They brought me a man with a gut wound once. About as messy as you can imagine. Blood everywhere, guts dragging behind him. Messy. So I did what any doctor with assault would do. Cut as much as I could, stitched up the rest, and closed the wound and hoped for the best. I thought he was a goner for sure. And he clung to life as if it was actually worth living. He fought tooth and nail for it and managed to crawl out. Of course, he couldn't eat much or drink, but he made it through. Just ended up sitting in the dirt with an outstretched hand, begging for some scraps and coins. Where am I going with this? If you ever find yourself in a similar situation, don't hesitate to call on me. We got it down to a science now. What?
Oh.
Zeb the Trader. What can I get you? How do you manage to stay in business? I thought the Merchants Guild frowns upon illegal trade. You're in the slums, my friend. Nothing is illegal here. If the merchants disagree, they should come here and say so. That would be quite a sight. Are you with the guild? I missed my chance to join them when you could get in for the asking, so I guess I'll have to make it on my own. Why is that? There was a time, and I'm not talking ancient history here, when the guild was about supporting people who wanted to live by their own rules. If you had trouble with the law and needed a place to stay low, you were always welcome. It all changed when the old temple district finally fell apart. The guards don't want to come here, so the guild became a local power overnight. They may still think they're thieves, but they've become the lords of the slums a long time ago. They ruled as surely as the lords rule the rest of the city. And how do the locals feel about it? One lord's as good as another, but people are a lot more comfortable under Levere than under Galeus, that's for sure. Of course, nobody pays any levies here, so maybe that's got something to do with it too. What do you sell? Poison.
Well,
after 20 successful strikes, the poison will be washed away by blood. Liquid fire vial. Okay, alchemist fire. Black powder bomb. Oh, salt petra. Okay, so the last time I think it was just a typo. It said salt petra. So yeah, saltpeter. Blood mushroom. No, I do not need any of that. Pig iron? Asked the man with a rugged, dirty face. Frying pan? How about a good cast iron kazan? It's heavy, but well worth the wait. No? Eat your food raw, do you? With weapons you like, I've got something for you. Pulls out a black bladed axe wrapped in rags. Looks rough, bearing hammer marks and dents, but the edge is razor sharp, and the axe is well balanced. My old man forged it himself. Found a rock that fell out of the sky and hammered it for days. Made a plow, the best I've ever seen, and this axe. I could sell it to you for 400 if it strikes your fancy. I don't need an axe. As you walk through the bazaar, one stall in particular catches your attention. Displays several skulls, masterfully converted into drinking cups and bowls, and a mummified head. Great. Back to the frying pan offer. Yeah. You are an expert, but the head seems to be centuries old. Dark, shrunken flesh, shriveled and distorted features, a lipless mouth. A mummified head like any other, except for one thing. A strange contraption sticking out of the left eye socket. You know, a mummified head like any other thing that you regularly encounter? First you think it's just a gem in a thick metal frame, but then you realize that the frame is actually a deep tube-like device going deep into the socket. Whoa, says the owner of the head. A dirty, monkey-looking man with restless limbs and suspicious eyes. You want it, you pay for it. Then you do whatever with it. 200 coins. Where'd you get it? In a sarcophagus deep beneath the city. Didn't belong to anyone. Was there anything else there? It's in it to you. It's all sold now anyway. This head is all I've left. You want it? Pay me 200 and it's yours. I'll give you 100. No dice. Okay, that's fine. I've got a lot of money. You take the head and pull the device out. The ball of this fancy fake eye is a cloudy blue, a gem unlike any you've seen. The back of the device has 8 hinged, outward curving grips around the circumference, which on insertion would anchor it in the empty socket permanently. The long metal tube protruding from the back is a bit of a mystery. You notice it's hollow, and about wide enough to fit the thick nerve that runs to the back of a living eye. Yeah, I gotta stab this into your face. Need to put this in my eye slot.
Oh my god.
Here. What you need, friend? What do you sell? Weapons and armor. Alright. And a wine. You have anything special? Special? How's this for special? He produces a mirror-polished steel club with deadly-looking spikes. Feel the spikes, like daggers, aren't they? Oil-tempered and clay-hardened. Ever seen anything like it? I bet you didn't. Could be yours for 300 coins. I know, it's a lot of money, but it's worth every coin, trust me. No. Okay, so there's the big building to go into. I can really not go back around it. I assumed that we could go around it. Guess not. The fuck do you want? Wow. You have nothing to do here. Okay. I guess I will leave.
Guess I will fuck off.
See another exit. So let's go back to the arena then, so that we can then go to the trade district. Enter the trade district. The glittering heart of Madaran's economy, a stream of merchants and their goods flow through the arteries of this district, the tide ebbing and flowing, but never ceasing. Towering over the district is the golden dome of the Commercium headquarters, once a temple to the old gods, now a place of worship for the only god the Commercium truly believes in: money. Pay, 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 says one of the traders, heading out and cursing loudly. Pay to reach the city, pay to enter the city, pay for the privilege to sell my own wares. Where does it stop? How do you come here? Much as I hate to admit it, but it is the only real market. Nothing else comes close. So you either starve yourself selling your wares to the few villages and outposts that are still around, or you pay through the nose to take your wares to Madaran. What other choice is there? Well, Terran's apparently got a growing market to sell to the giant army that is camped there. Yes, there's no end to the trials of the small business owner. They're getting pushed out by the monopolists. Oh. Aren't you with the Commercium? I work for myself. That's why I went into trading to begin with. It's not easy, and you have to stay out of smaller towns, but Madaran is big enough to handle all the trading it does now and then some. Of course, we have to rent stalls in the Commercium and pay them a hefty cut at the end of the day, but like I said, what other choice is there? Why do you stay out of small towns? Small towns can only handle so much business, so if you bring your wares there, you'd be taking business from the Commercium, and they won't like it one bit. Of course, you could sell directly to them, but it won't even cover the trip. So like I said, you either go to Madaran or service villages and outposts, and they can't afford to pay much. They pay you with produce and ore, you still need to sell it, which brings us back to Madaran. What about Ganazar? I tend to stay away from it. The market is smaller, so you sell less and at lower prices, but you pay the same levies. Not to mention that ever since Mayri started preaching, Ganazar is ruled by mobs of zealots. The guards do nothing to rein them in. If you want my advice, stay away from it too. Who's running the Commercium here? Strabos. He's alright, if you pay on time, keep your word. Of course, if you miss the payment or try to skip town, it's another story, but that's the nature of the business. Carpets, including novelty carpet bags. I do not need to steal from the market stall. That seems like a bad idea.
Just put some more points into steel.
The exotic emporium trader, looking for something special. Curved swords. Curved swords. Curved swords. Spiked pauldrons, that sort of things. Look no further than for your standing and will one day be known as Exotic Emporium. Do you have anything special? Every item you see is your special, chosen with care and deliberation, says the trader, raising his eyebrow at the ignorance he's just witnessed. But then again, some of my customers expect only the best and are willing to pay a hefty premium for quality that can't be described as anything other than exceptional. He pulls out a richly decorated axe and shoves it in your face, inviting you to admire the craftsmanship up close. It's the finest weapon ever created. You can spend the rest of your life looking for a finer axe and you'll not find it. Yes, it's steel, but don't turn away so quickly. It's the purest steel, tempered to perfection in the rarest oils. It's a warrior's weapon, made to wreak havoc with every swing of the blade. Yeah, there's a lot of axes on the market. What?
People love selling axes.
What is this, like, crescent blade? Truly one of the finest axes you've ever held. Whoever made it definitely knew their way around a blade. But the primary and secondary bevel. The primary bevel is established well up to the axe head to facilitate deep cuts, while the edge bevel is slightly blunted to prevent the edge from folding, chopping, or dulling quickly. Sure. I can't accept less than 600. What else do you have? Armor schematics. Ordu helmets. Schematics. Yeah, we're not going to be forging.
Seawolf doesn't want to do crafting in this game because he's a coward.
We also would not, I don't think I have a use for any of that.
How much can you sell your eye for?
I don't know. Not much.
15 gold. Well, I'm glad you paid 200 for it.
Look, they don't know what they're looking at.
Yeah. Look, I feel like if anyone's gonna know what they're looking at, it's not the Exotic Emporium guy. That's just marketing.
The Shields trader. You know what they say, you know how they say the best defense is a good offense? Bullshit, I say. The best defense is a good shield strapped to your arm. Nothing beats it. Just ask any archer what he thinks about shields, and he'll tell you. Bastards hate them. You know why? 3 layers of wood glued together, covered with leather. See what I'm getting at? If archers hate shields, you should grab 1 or 2, while supplies last and all that.
Fucking hate archers. Those motherfuckers.
I most certainly do, says the trader with pride, producing a large metal-studded shield. It looks old and dented, yet surprisingly solid, as if the dents only highlighted the shield's destructibility. It belonged to Quintus Sibelius Barrow, called the Invincible. To say he knew a thing or two about shields wouldn't be saying the half of it, and this one here was built to his very own specifications. Try it. See? It's lighter, not as bulky. Makes all the difference, doesn't it? He soaks the wood with resin. That's why it looks this way. Neat little trick, huh? What happened to him? Stabbed to death in a whorehouse. Best way to go, if you ask me.
What? This is definitely a video game.
It sure is. He is just the shields guy. Alright, good. A large, angry-looking woman with a frying pan in her hand, okay? Ah, the boatman of Styx. Killed more people than malaria. Huh. You stare at an exhausted young man, apparently just having trained out in the courtyard. He's dressed in Ordu armor despite not being of the Ordu. He looks up at you curiously and says, "What do you want?" "Just came from Terran, looking for the guildmaster." "What's your name?" "I'm Roni. I heard a lot of news from Terran lately. It seems like someone is stirring things up over there." "Well, welcome to Madaran, I guess. If you're looking for Darista, she's inside." "What can you tell me about her?" "It's there to tell. If you're looking for work, there's no one better to work for." "Well, we're not looking for work, but..." It's rumored that Darista, the guildmaster of Madaran's assassins, was once beautiful and even shared Gaelus's bed once or twice. Nowadays her beauty is well hidden behind several scars, a broken nose, and a mercenary tattoo on her cheek. Marks of the various campaigns she fought in. Darista isn't the first female guildmaster, but she is the first to make assassins a preferred choice for solving disputes and conflicts. As a result, business in the Madaran's guild is booming, with the number of satisfied customers growing daily. "What do you need?" "Nothing. Just exploring." Can't go up the stairs. Anything back here? Doesn't look like it. Old temple? Another temple from the olden days. Judging by the noise coming from inside, instead of worshipping just the old symbols, the locals prefer the worship of the beauty of the female body. Yeah.
We get it.
Huh. Farmer. deeply tanned fellow works at loosening some netting on a cart laden with sacks and baskets of produce. His thinning hair jerks about as he vigorously yanks a corner knot free, tosses the net to the front of the cart. Pausing just long enough to wipe his forehead with the back of his forearm, he grabs a basket of potatoes and turns to carry it over to the nearby stall. He moves with the strength and efficiency of one well accustomed to physical labor. You got a moment? Yeah, several. He grunts as he sets the basket down by the stall and begins walking back to the cart. Planning to spend them all on these baskets, though. He grabs another basket, pauses to give you a grin. But if you can work and talk, I can talk and work. He slides the basket off the cart and turns to the stall. Sure. Yeah. We'll grab a basket of onions. Name's Eugenius, he says, as the two of you walk over and stoop to sit the baskets down. You head back to the cart and grab a sack of what is probably dried beans. Eugenius slips a basket of dust radishes. Can't help but wonder what I've got to say would be important enough for you to lend a hand to hear it. Looks to be a good load here. Is it not difficult raising a harvest out here? Squints his eyes inquisitively and grins. What do you think? Pauses and looks out to the sky, his face turning grim. Some years are brutal, trying to scratch a living out of the dirt. Feel like a damn fool trying to coax stubborn seeds up out of the ground into this. Waves his hand around. Hellish world. Who could blame him, right? But then some years, a few showers here and there, almost feels like the gods might just still give a shit. They probably don't, quickly and matter-of-factly adds. But when you go from a year where you're spitting on prickle fruit seeds every day just to get them to sprout, to a year like this one, points at the baskets of produce, it's almost enough to give a man religion again. Why do you keep doing it? Gotta eat, don't we? Laughs heartily for a few minutes before trailing off and wiping his eyes. Lets out a mirthful sigh and then turns serious again. It's a noble profession, you know, farming, I mean. I'm no house noble by a long shot, but it's an honest living. Keeps my conscience clean and my neighbors fed. These are troubled times, no doubt, but at the end of the day, I know I took care of myself and I didn't hurt anyone while doing it. The harder I work, the more I grow. The more I grow, the more money I earn. And the more food there is for you to buy. Sometimes what's good for one is good for another. A novel notion these days. So in good years you man a stall in the market and get rich? I'm hardly running out of holes to bury my profits in, if that's what you mean, but the good years get me by. The bad years I grow enough to eat, which is about all a simple man can really ask for, I suppose. But yeah, good years, I haul the surplus to market, make some coin for putting back. It actually pays very well when I've got it to sell. And this isn't my stall. When I've got this much surplus, I sell in bulk to a merchant here at market. Too much work to do back at home when the crop is coming in strong. Margin isn't as good after you consider the discount to the merchant, the commercium fees, but the time saved ensures I haven't got crop rotting in the fields. Commercium always gets its cut, doesn't it? Are they difficult to work with? You wouldn't stand in front of my house and talk shit about my onions, would you? Raises his eyebrows as he gives you a moment for comprehension to take hold. The commercium does what it does, and I do what I do. If you want to sell in the major towns, you gotta pay the fee. They're not difficult to work with, so they're very efficient in processing my payments and papers, and they keep the market square well guarded, so good for all, right? Why not just skip the major towns, travel around, sell to whatever settlements are out there? Are you kidding me? First of all, there's only a handful of shitty settlements anywhere close out there, and the risk game was trying to get to all of them. I could probably avoid a commercium fee, but surviving long travels in the waste comes with its own costs. And one customer you can count on out there are the damned raiders. Problem with them is they're real partial to those steal one and get the rest for free deals. These assholes only buy in bulk too. Some merchants try to do it though. It's a rough life, but the ones that make it I guess do alright. Gotta be crafty enough to pull that life off. Folks that try to bypass the commercium tend to have bad things befall them sooner or later though. Just a coincidence, I'm sure. Do you own your land, or does it belong to Galius? I'm fortunate enough to have my own little piece of the dirt out there. Doesn't mean Galius can't take every potato I own, call me up to arms at a moment's notice though, does it? For the good of Madaran, the honor of House Aurelian, the defense of the Empire, whatever we're calling it these days. But until then, yeah, beats working on another man's fields for him, right? How do you think Madaran fares these days? Better than most, which isn't saying much. Raiders are abundant in the wastes, gold in a commercium's vault. The noble houses are all the same, too paranoid to trust each other, rightly so I'd wager, and hell-bent on being the first to dig up whatever artifact that might secure the clear advantage over the others. I guess Galius is no worse than any other. He likes taxing us, maybe a little too much, but I hardly notice it. The commercium's hand always in my pocket. Let the houses play their politics, I suppose. I'll worry about making sure we all eat. Last I checked, that still seems to be important to everybody. How much does the commercium charge you? Depends on how well we're doing. Usually it's about 3-4 on 20. I think they take it a little easier on us that are dealing in crop goods. It's hard enough raising crops out there. They put too big a fee on us, it's just not worth the effort to raise surplus. And the commercium likes to eat as well as any of us, I guess. A farmer philosopher with a heart of gold. You're quite a rarity. There's no deep thought here. A man like me doesn't have time for that. Just common sense. Don't be making me out for some fool of a saint. Like I said, in the end, it's what's good for me that really counts. But I rest easy knowing what I do helps more than just myself. And it doesn't hurt that everybody that likes to eat likes a farmer, right? It's not everybody can do what I do out there. I'll let you get back to work.
That was, like, a neat little conversation, because, like, I don't think it's going to be, like, plot relevant or anything, and, like, I don't know, I feel like so frequently games don't go out of their way to, like, make kind of, like, a generic every person, like, actually have any kind of dialogue that isn't, like, related to whatever, doing a quest for them.
Right. Yeah. It's also, yeah, like, it is, you know, it's trying to establish, like, okay, and honestly, I don't know that this works entirely, but, like, you know, how do people eat is an important question in settings like this, especially when it's like, oh, it's such a you know, dark age, like everything's a disaster, and I think it still seems a little like, where are all these bandits and raiders coming from? Like, is there enough food that they can just like steal shit? All like, um, but like as a just like conversation and as a thing that exists in the game, yeah, I really appreciate that. It's like, talk to this guy and figure out what is kind of this basic person's life.
Yeah.
Eager to nail any aspiring shoplifter. Yeah, that's okay, that's the Palace District. Okay. Oh, there's a house here that we can actually enter. Oh, one here too. Welcome to Desir's Carpet DM.
Oh my god.
Seize the day and buy yourself the nicest wool carpet, but he can carpet DM.
I appreciate it. You know what? I'm here for the miserable pun.
The shopkeeper stops abruptly, realizing you aren't in the market for rugs. Say, friend, says the man, changing his tone, how would you like to make 1,000 Imperials? It's a simple tale. I wish to buy a gem. It's a rare yellow sapphire, cut to perfection. Unfortunately, Sylvanus is not a reasonable man. I've offered him 1,000 Imperials, and he still refused to sell, making a fool out of me. Not very neighborly of him, is it? He used to live next door and sell spices. Then he made some powerful friends and bought a house in the Palace District, right next to the palace. The nerve, huh? Well, here's the deal. Bring me the stone, and I'll pay you 1,000 Imperials. I don't care how you acquire it. That's between you and Sylvanus. And if he ends up dead? Like I said, friend, that's between you and Sylvanas. Well, we'll see what happens there. I don't know about that. What's in this house? Enter a small, dimly lit house near the market square. The voices and shouts coming from the market fade away. It's filled with shelves and boxes, leaving very little space for anything else. Parchments, manuscripts piled in heaps, odd mechanical devices. Tools and bottles of dry ink occupy every available surface. Thick dust and cobwebs in the corners suggest the house hasn't been cleaned in a very long time. An old man in a worn-out robe is pacing around the table and other natural obstacles, searching for something. His wrinkled, prune-like face speaks of decades spent under the scorching sun. Although the old man moves around his house with apparent ease, you notice he's relying on his hands to navigate past the obstacles rather than his failing eyesight. Sensing your presence, the old lore master stops and forces his face into something resembling a smile. Am I expecting you? He asks, struggling to remember. Who are you? I'm Tiresias, a humble scholar. There are those who call me a sage, says the man with pride, but I make no claims to such a distinction. What can I do for you, my friend? All right, Tiresias. A scholar. The past has always fascinated me, ever since I've heard my first tale about the war with the demons. I knew what I wanted to be. I spent my whole life digging in the ruins. Oh, the sights I've seen. Sadly, they were too much for my poor eyes, and I was forced to settle down. Now I make a living trading bits and pieces of my knowledge for a few coins. He looks at you meaningfully. Yeah, sure, I'd like to learn something. For 10 Imperials. You must have mistaken me for a beggar. If you wish to partake in my wisdom and expand your horizons, I'd expect at least 500 Imperials, and not a coin less. I've traveled far just to hear you speak, O great sage. I wish I had 1,000 coins so I could give them to you, but I spent what little I had to come here. I beg of you not to turn me away, master. My sight is faded now, teaching is increasingly more difficult. Suggest you find a younger lore master if you really are in need of a teacher. Oh.
Time to increase your streetwise.
I guess. I don't know what this is worth it, but I'll save before I put points into stuff. I mean, this streetwise is gonna get used anyway, so or pay him, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What is my yeah, my charisma is 9. Okay, streetwise 6.
Like, that's a hard check.
Yeah, it
but
is.
I guess, he is a sage, so
I'm here to pick up that thing. Wait, you're Marcus's boy, aren't you? Why did you say so in the first place? Okay. A large tube. Okay. A paying customer. Well, these are hard times, and I can't deny that even a few extra coins would be more than welcome. I'll make an exception for you and take half my usual fee. Okay. 250. Gives you an anecdote-filled lecture on how to appraise relics and artifacts. Detect forgeries, trace genealogical trees, and make birth charts and charms for noble clients. Oh, increased lore, etiquette, and streetwise. Oh, wow. Oh, well, it just says etiquette's increased, so I'm not sure what the... Tiresias shuffles the manuscripts on his desk as if searching for a worthy topic. I assume you've heard many tales about the Great War that toppled the old empire. Every fool tells his own tale, thinks it's the truth, and nothing but. These tales differ widely, but one thing is constant. The war breaks out, the Kantari demons enter the fray, and then the High Lords make their appearance on the battlefield of history. When the war is over, both the demons and High Lords disappear, leaving no traces but tales and myths. That's not constant, because our one guy said there was no High Lords. How convenient. Indeed, our understanding of what happened during the war is based on accounts that are as varied as the tales you hear today. To put it simply, nobody knows what happened back then, but the storytellers and late historians want to answer the most common questions. What happened? Why did the Empire fall? Who is to blame? It's human nature to blame someone else, since the Kantari aren't here to defend themselves. They make a perfect villain and scapegoat. Are you saying they didn't start the war? I'm saying nobody knows what happened. In my humble opinion, the references to supernatural beings or arcane forces made their way into the chronicles many years after the war to make the tales more fanciful. Personally, I prefer to keep to facts and use the lectio facilar method when appropriate. It means the easier choice, and it's a suggestion when facing several possible interpretations of an event described in text or manuscript. A wise researcher should prefer the less complex interpretatio, the one that introduces less out of context or fictional elements while maintaining wholeness and coherency of the story. What's your explanation then? Anything but these metaphysic assertions, well beyond the laws of the material world. You can't prove the gods or demons do exist, as well as I cannot confute it. It's a matter of faith or beliefs, not rational reasoning. What about the machines? It said the gods taught the Magi and gave them tools and the knowledge to build them. Alas, we lost so much. Knowledge, technology, arts, culture. History doesn't proceed in a straight line, my friend, like ripples in a pond after you've thrown in a stone or waves in the sea. Civilizations start from humble villages, grow stronger, reaching their top, then wither and fade, just like men and women do. Peaks and pits, a never-ending cycle, always similar, never the same. But I'm digressing again. I'm not denying anything, my friend, quite the opposite. Technology did reach astounding levels. The fact that now we are often unable even to understand its use is actually our greatest failure. But again, it's mankind we're referring to, not gods or demons. We once reached the peak of our civilization, looking beyond the horizon, whereas now we are only able to see the bottom of the pit where we are living now. Yet fear not, my friend. I'm confident someday things will change for the better, even if I'm well aware that I won't be there to witness. Okay. So what did... Okay. What is this thing we got from him? Oh, it's another battery, I think. Maybe. That's probably important. I think we'll keep that.
Maybe you can take that back to the blue steel factory.
Maybe.
Because like you had the option
Yeah.
to like increase output or whatever, but
Right.
didn't have
It
the
didn't have
ability
enough
to do
power.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the commercium. Oh, there's this little tower over here. We do need to go in that. But, let's see here. Capes Trader.
Just what you
Fancy a
need.
cape,
More
my
cape.
friend. Nothing says you're a man of means and taste like a fine cape. Look at all these fine capes. Simple cape, Centurion's cape, Traveler's cape, Noble's cape. Damn.
How come there's not a Praetor's cape?
I guess that's the Noble's cape.
Hmm.
What is that? Our cape is like yellow? Yeah. Get a purple cape? I don't know what the like house colors of different groups are.
Do you know what the house colors of your group is?
No!
Okay, I was like, I don't really feel like I saw any distinguishing colors in the first act.
No! Like, our initial armor was blue, and then the upgraded armor is green. And our cape is yellow. I have no idea. I'm gonna get a purple cape. Yeah.
That looks good. But what kind of cape is it?
Oh, it's a noble's cape.
Oh, okay.
I bought the most expensive cape. Type.
Something you need to spend something, or spend your money on something.
Come, come, don't be shy, yells the well-trained trader, smiling as if you're his long-lost sibling. I have the best armor here, bar none. But why am I telling you this? You look like a man who knows quality. Am I right?
No.
Do you have anything special? Uh, One look and I can just tell you we're in the market for something special. Today's your lucky day because you won't find anything more special than this armor. I bought it from Marcus Tiberius Aris's widow. He saved Lord Gilius's noble father from an assassination attempt and was given this armor as a reward for faithful service. Made of the finest blue steel. Ooh, it's blue steel. Gold inlays, exquisite craftsmanship. Why, the very thought of parting with this magnificent armor brings tears to my eyes. But I can tell you need it more. Am I right? I don't. 1,000! 4,000! Jesus! The alchemy trader. Dabble in the alchemical arts? Need a love potion? A curse on your enemies, perhaps? A custom hex if you have the coin, those ain't cheap. How about prosperity candles? Draw luck and success in business dealings. No? Well, look around and tell me what. Let me know if you find anything to your liking. Antidote? Decreases poison. Doesn't cure poison, just decreases poison level by 20. Iron balls. Made for unknown purpose. Guard. Oh, this is the... I'm not allowed to go to the second floor. Well... It's like an elevator? Doesn't look like there's stairs. Where's the thing I need to go to? Up here. Big ass fucking telescope. Lots of alchemy stuff. Hey there, buddy. You see a bald, bearded man fiddling with an old telescope, bearing signs of crude repair. If you want me to do a chart, you're wasting your time, says the man, his accent thick and heavy. What chart? I'm a stargazer, says the man impatiently, as if it should have been obvious. But don't do charts anymore, so don't ask. Now what do you want? I need a lore master. I am that as well. Surely you've heard about Abukar. Now tell me what you need to go away. What is this thing? Telescopium, a wonder of wonders. Through it I observe stars and their movements, although it's not the stars, but the void between them that captured my attention now. Why? I've learned that the void is anything but empty. The darkness hides it well, but nothing can stay hidden forever. There are those who dwell in the void, and I've taken it upon myself to watch them. Have you seen any yet? I've not, but the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. They're there, somewhere. I know that now. What makes you think that? Makes me think that the wisdom of the ancients contained in the scrolls I found in the ruins of the library of Saros. Ah, the truth they revealed. I burned the scrolls, but I can't burn the words printed in my mind. They are the reason I watch the void now. What did the scrolls say? They said that the Magi reached far into the void and brought forth beings that are not of this or any other world. Beings that know neither life the way we know it, nor death. The link has been severed and the gate sealed, but the path remains. The seals can be unlocked and the spells can be reversed unless we stand guard and watch the void. Is that what the scroll said? Word for word? There were a dozen of the scrolls reduced to fragments. I had to decipher the message to deduce its meaning, hidden to the uninitiated. Any chance you might have erred a little bit? I am a third generation lore master. I do not err. You've mentioned the Library of Saros. Do you know where it is? There's nothing there, but if you want to gaze upon the ruins of the greatest library in the world, I won't stop you. Let me mark it on your map. What did you seek at the library? Knowledge. What else? I was trying to solve a problem, and I hoped that the great Library of Saros might shed some light on it. I was mistaken. What kind of problem? I was working on a device to detect energy fluctuations. It could detect random deviations with 80% accuracy, but couldn't handle larger and more frequent fluctuations. Obviously, I miscalculated somewhere, but the nature of the old world's magic is hardly a well-explored field these days. One has no choice but to make assumptions, which leads to setbacks and disappointments. I thought magic was gone from the world. And you thought wrong. The Magi are gone, but the magic they unleashed is still here, lurking in our own backyard, waiting for the right moment to strike. How do you fight that which you can't see? How do you stop that which has been prophesied to come? Our own backyard. You mean the abyss? What else? We've accepted the abyss and learned to stay away from it. We speak of magic that haunts it without any understanding of what it is. Is it radiation? And why it's still there, centuries later. Yet any force that affects the physical world can be detected and measured, even if it's invisible to the naked eye. This device, do you still have it? It's not for sale. You wanted to explore the abyss? Yes, but not the way fools do it, with sheep, mystical charts, and divining rods. The dangerous spots have abnormal energy spikes, so all you need to do is construct a device that can read them. Yeah, a Geiger counter, okay. Easier said than done, of course, but the paths we're traveling are never easy. I have an item for you to look at. Make it quick. Yeah, show him the eye. A rare find. Most of these things are destroyed after the war, melted in great furnaces and poured away like dirty water. They say that such eyes can see what mortal eyes couldn't, but I can't say for sure what it means. Okay, we'll show him the map. The Temple of Thor Goth, says Abukar after studying the shield. It's a fool's errand. Antitus was searching for it for a long time, and even sent an expedition, but they didn't find anything. Talk to Domitius Ulpius if you want to know more. Well, that's who I need to find. That's who I was told to find. What do you know of Thor Agoth? He wasn't of this world. None of them were. They were brought here and given life, which was the greatest folly of men. Be thankful that they are gone, but remain vigilant and stand ready to delay their return. So we are not what we once were, and will be all but helpless against them. Okay. That's good. We got somebody that we can go show stuff to. But we still need to find Domitius Ulpius. Did we go? I think we went through all these. Oh, there's a healer. Didn't go in this building. Well, I assume it's just like a guy you can pay to heal you. What can I do for you? Nasty cuts. And it appears that you're bleeding internally. We'll need to do a bit of draining, a bit of stitching, and a lot of praying. Am I not at full health? I guess not, actually. I don't know what my health is. Hit points 35. Oh, I am like only at 20. Why am I only at 20? I should probably get healed, sure. Okay. Well, here's a guy in a Praetorian outfit. My outfit's much better. Okay, well, we've been through everything here, so Palace District. You enter the Palace District, your senses assaulted by the sights and sounds of humanity around you. Everywhere, people shout and jostle for position, haughty nobles in their routines and guards, guild masters giving orders to scurrying clerks, emissaries from distant lands seeking an audience, servants of the great houses on urgent errands, citizens seeking ruling on disputes, and tattered petitioners come to beg for aid. A few guards look on in boredom, carefully avoided by the rest. Their role seems to be to maintain order in the chaos more than to bar entry, and to keep an eye on the slaves laboring to restore the walls surrounding the palace. In the distance, you see the palace itself, a multi-dome structure surrounded by tall minarets. Legend has it that the minarets somehow protected the palace from the attacks during the war. But there's no defense against betrayal. One of the minarets was brought down from within by a traitor. You can see where it collapsed, caving in one of the domes as it fell. There's a slight shimmering in the air around the minarets, even the fallen one, which probably explains why it hasn't been cleared, even after all these years. Can't get in without a badge, says a man standing next to you. I had to wait 6 weeks to get mine. The goddamn thing is only good for a day. Cost me 250 Imperials. It's nothing but another levy. Why does it take so long? Why? Look at all these people. They all want something, and there aren't enough hours in a day to hear everyone. So you need to get on the list, pay for the privilege, wait a few weeks. Sell me your badge? I don't know. Isn't it against the law or something? I won't tell anyone. How much do you want for it? 300 Imperials. Then quickly. 250 is what I paid for it, plus 50 for the 6 weeks I had to wait. You used it, didn't you?
Your trading is not good enough.
I know it's not. Let's see what, like, an actual thing costs. Where is... Okay, that's the entrance. We're all the way up here. Senna's Villa? Lorenz's Villa? The Calvis home. Oh, that's where that kid is. This one is just, you can walk in, so it doesn't have a door, so I don't know whose it is. House is to the back. Here I am. See an agitated man yelling something about justice while looking at every noble and will just passerby with a horse. I demand the Lord's justice, shouts the man again, but with less vigor. What happened? I was wrong, says the man quickly, grateful for attention. He took my house. His men threw me out of my own house. I've always paid my levies. Always. No questions. No excuses. I have a right to demand justice, yet they won't even let me in to see Lord Gallius. Who threw you out of your house? Why? Start from the beginning. My name is Caius Amarius, prospector by trade. Prospector by trade, says the man, of taking a deep breath and gathering his thoughts. I've seen my share of oddities and wonders over the years, but they don't come close to what I discovered several months ago. I was exploring the mountain range to the north, following the rumors of an ancient temple built into one of the mountains, when suddenly the mountains rumbled and shook, throwing me to the ground. When the quake passed, I saw there was a long crack in the rock shining with blue light. The crack was no more than a few inches wide, so I could only peer inside, but what I saw in there made me weak in the knees. A terrifying figure, horned and huge, sat upon a throne, gazing at me with indifference. In front of the throne stood the biggest metal chest I've ever seen, flanked by glowing lamps. It took me a while to realize that the mysterious figure was the long-dead guardian of this tomb, still clad in the battle armor of legends. The armor alone, so well preserved, could fetch a fortune. for it is a gift fit for any lord. As for the chest he was guarding, the mere thought of what it might be inside made me dizzy. So there I was, a few steps from the biggest find of my life, yet unable to reach it. I would never have been able to go through that rock on my own, so I returned to Matarat and carefully approached a number of men who could fund such projects. All but one turned me down. Against my better judgment, I made a deal with Marcus Vala, a man of means and reputation. He invested 12,000 Imperials in exchange for an equal share of the proceeds, and I purchased slaves, tools, and supplies. Knowing that large expeditions often attract unwanted attention, I hired fighting men to accompany us on the journey. I fully admit that my experience in such matters is limited, but I didn't want to bring in another partner to handle it. Even the greatest treasure can be reduced to a handful of coins if you have to split it too many ways. Uh-huh.
I didn't want to pay more people.
Quite so. The slaves worked day and night, for we were in a hurry and soon cut away in. We took the battle armor out of the chamber first. The magic animating it was long gone, but it was still quite a marvel. The chest was a marvel too in its own right. There was no lock. The lid was sealed, fused closed. Our tools couldn't open it, so we had to use the black powder. Twice we tried, twice we failed, but the third blast tore the chest apart, killing several slaves who could still fetch a good price on the market. That's the...
Yeah. Sure is a way to think about people.
What was in the chest? Nothing, laughs the man, sounding half mad. Nothing but scrolls that were incinerated the moment we blasted the damn chest open. No sooner had I thought I still had the armor than the accursed mercenaries, these dogs without any honor, turned on me. They took the armor and the slaves and left me there, right where I started, along with my broken dreams. It's outrageous! What is the world coming to? Sadly, my misfortunes were far from over. When I returned home, Marcus Vala, this fiend in human form, demanded his money back. Obviously, I couldn't pay him, so this very morning his men came and threw me out of my own house. Told me until I pay him what I borrowed, the house is his. The audacity! You and your men recklessly destroyed priceless documents left for future generations, and then squabbled over the armor of a man left to guard them. You do deserve what you got. Are you gonna help me or not? What do you want me to do? I was thrown out of my own house. What do you think I want you to do? I got places to go and people to see. Make it worth my time. Pay you with what? I don't have any money. Well, you're a prospector. You have a trinket or two stashed away? Fine, I'll pay you with trinkets. Just get my house back. Take me to Marcus Vala, okay? Marius takes you to an unremarkable house in the trade district. Are you gonna kill him? We'll see. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Extremely
No,
not.
absolutely not. You're standing outside of Marius' house. If you're wondering why, you should. Oh, let me save. A rough-looking man outside the door gives you a hard opens the door and gives you a hard stare. He looks like a typical mercenary, scarred and broad-shouldered. If you have to guess, his job is to look menacing and scare visitors away. What do you want? I want to talk to Marcus Vala. Mercenary eyes you for half a minute, hoping you drop dead or run away screaming, then roughly offers you to come inside. What can I do for you? Inquires the stern-looking man. I had a conversation with Caius Amarius. He claims this house belongs to him. Belonged, corrects the man, smirking amicably. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Marcus Vala of the Vala family. My family is, well, you're not here to talk about my family, are you? A few months ago, Master Amarius approached me, claiming to have found rich deposits of silver ore close to the surface and easy to extract. He needed money, you see, to buy slaves and equipment. Since his reputation was good, I gladly lent him 12,000 Imperials, in good faith, mind you, against my share of the proceeds. Yet, as you already know, the venture was less than successful. Silver ore, you said. That's what good Master Amarius told me at first. Later, he confessed that he wasn't entirely honest with me, but it was too late. Had I known what's at stake, I would have handled everything myself. Ironically, that was Master Amarius' main concern at the time, and that's precisely why he lost everything in the end. I tried to reason with him and arrange a way for him to repay his debt, but he formed an opinion that he didn't owe me anything anymore, and that we were equal partners, equal shares, equal risks, so as he so eloquently put it. He feels that we've invested equally. I invested my money, whereas he invested his expertise and life, which certainly was a risk here in the ordeal. Yet in the end, neither his life nor his expertise were lost, only my money, and I was well within my rights to demand and insist on a repayment. So you took his house. What was I supposed to take? His wife? She does have certain charms, but I assure you she is hardly worth 12,000 imperials. No woman is. Let's be reasonable here. Then bring me the armor and I'll vacate the house immediately. You have my word. I thought it was taken by the mercenaries. It was taken. The question is where. The relic isn't somewhere that you can sell to the first trader. It's worth quite a bit of money. Since the mercenaries can't sell it in Mataran, there's only one city where they can give even half its true worth. Yanazar. So how do I find them? The mercenaries will need a buyer. One of my men who dabbles in such things will make them an offer they won't refuse. When they bring the armor, take care of the mercenaries and bring it to me. Do we have a deal? They bring the armor, take care of the mercenaries. I don't think that's gonna work. But
Look,
sure,
you have limited options here.
we'll try. Ask for Esdras. I'll send him word that you're coming. He'll take care of everything. Where? Who? The rightful owner. Find Esdras in Gedazar. Okay, well, we're not going to Gedazar. Anytime soon. Any news? Well, I'm working on it. Okay, back to the Palace District, I guess. Serenus. Standing in front of the house. Oh, this is the house Nazir described. It's a traditional one-story building with a tower on the roof. Hear footsteps on the rooftop and see a board guard making his rounds. Definitely not a wind tower. Right, this is where the gem is that we're supposed to retrieve.
Well, unfortunately, you didn't put those 6 points into sneak, so you're probably not going to be able to sneak it.
No, I don't think so. A servant opens the door and takes you to see his master. Sylvanus, a plump, round-faced, balding man flanked by 2 bodyguards, is talking to his guest, a lean, dark-eyed man with an eagle nose, well-groomed beard, and the relaxed manner of a man with nothing to fear. Did Nazir send you? Says Sylvanus, smiling. The man can't take no for an answer, can he? Since several fake buyers already, as much as I'm enjoying this little drama, I do have other engagements, as you see. So, tell me what you offer and be on your way. What's your price? I'm a wealthy man, says Sylvanus matter-of-factly. What reason would I have to sell one of my most prized possessions? Wealthy man, huh? That's why I'm here. 40 thieves sent me to collect a tribute. A gem you're boasting about. Fork it over and I'll leave you alone. For now. The 40 thieves, huh? This gets better and better. Bossar, why don't you handle this one? You aren't one of mine, says Basu, the fierce right-hand man, which makes you a liar who steals in our name, besmirching it. The punishment for this crime is death, but I have money! I hope you'd say that. 500 imperials should suffice. Okay, well, we're not gonna do that.
That is very funny, though. I love that there wasn't even a like
Right.
there was no success failure.
Uh-huh.
It was just yes, no. We offered you this role and it is impossible.
Well, and you have to like have a high enough level in impersonate to do it in like attempt it, because it
Mhm.
has a little thing. It's like impersonate success, which is like it shows that usually I see that with lore where it's like, oh, you know enough to was this before? Yeah, it is. Okay, whoops. I gotta save after this. I wonder how many points it is to steal it. Let's.
Well, you did save. I recommend starting with 6. You don't you don't have enough to even get up that high.
No, I don't. Oh, I don't have enough dexterity to climb the wall.
Ah.
Good. Oh, great. That's good. Entrance is blocked by burly Centurion, expertly handling the traffic and sending people away as fast as they come. State your business. I want to talk to Lord Galius. Lord Galius want to talk to you? I don't feel like I should show him the map, but we did save, so... It's a map! What am I supposed to do with it? Great. Just like, what are you doing, buddy? Go away. That's good. Alright, let's go to the Calvis home. Seems to be the Calvis residence. The youth who gave you the exploding package will be overjoyed to see you. You? How? Asked the youth, turning pale. How did I survive? You little surprise, you mean? I got lucky. You, on the other hand. What's going on here? Demands an imposing man in his 60s. Explain yourself. The old man cringes and suddenly backhands his son, sending him to the floor. I apologize, he says in a tone that suggests the matter is now closed. I trust this 400 Imperials will be sufficient for your inconvenience. He killed a man and almost got me killed. He killed a thug who dared to threaten him. The only thing my son has done that I approve of. The gambling debt he will have to answer for. As for you, I suggest to mind your own business in the future. None of it would have happened had you not gotten involved. And if I don't see it this way? I have guards, gestured the old man. Even if you manage to overcome them, someone take my son's life, then what? You'll be hunted and killed. Over what? Be reasonable. Take the money and leave. Just kill the son. No, I will take the money, thank you. And I got some skill points. I gained insight. Certainly did. Uh-huh. You have nothing to do here. Well, I mean, yeah, but... I want to talk to people. Oh, this is the bathhouse. Great way to relax after a hard day of doing nothing, rubbing elbows with the influential citizens. Welcome guests of this great city.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, where is Domitius Ulpius? Stuff over here we haven't been able to get to. Looks like there's any. Oh, okay. You were right here. See a middle-aged man with a weathered face, half hidden by a scraggly beard. You ask if he's Domitius Ulpius, and the man nods, steps back, letting you in. What can I do for you, stranger? Lord Atitas sent me to find the temple. You were my first step. I don't see how I can help you since I never found it, says the man cautiously. You know more than I do. At the very least, you could tell me where the temple is not. I suppose it's not really a secret. According to the map, the temple is somewhere northeast from Terran, but the map hasn't been drawn to scale, so it's almost impossible to pinpoint the exact location. What's worse is the map's been drawn before the war, so many places the map refers to are no longer there. There were reports of a buried temple east of Madaran, so that's where we started. We set up camp and started combing the desert, looking for the signs of the temple. Problem is, the desert never stays the same. Wind constantly shifts the sand, making dunes and moving them at will. Entire towns have been known to disappear into the shifting sands. So looking for a buried temple in a desert is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Still, we were optimistic, but that's when the attacks came. Attacks. We were too close to Madaran, too close for Gaius' comfort. I'm not sure what he thought we were doing there, but it's very clear he wanted us gone. At first our scouts started disappearing, and then smaller camps came under attack. After losing a third of our men and some gear, we were forced to pack up and leave. You mentioned a buried temple? Several caravan masters reported seeing a buried complex emerging from the sand. Tops of some pyramids surrounded by towers. They said it was pretty big as Tehran even. You believe them? Their accounts were consistent. They had no reason to lie. At the same time, deserts often play tricks on one's eyes, so perhaps they all saw what wasn't there. Go on. We kept moving northeast until we came to a dead river and the ruins of some dock. The riverbed was covered in fog. We could see the remains of some ships, but not much else. We lowered several men down there and sent them to look for a way up, but they didn't return. And we split our group in two. One went north to look for a way across the river, the other went south. I was with the group that went north. We didn't find a way across, but we found something far more interesting. A temple carved into the face of a mountain. At first we even thought we'd found the temple. The gods led us to it. What happened then? We rushed inside. We really thought we'd found it, but we all knew what Atitas was after. Had the temple already been looted, it would have been worthless. We had to find something valuable to bring back, something that would have made us all rich men. We had good lore masters with us. Atitas spared no gold spent getting the best men, and they were worth every coin. They knew what to look for and what to do, before any of us could even blink. They went through this temple like hounds following scent. They found hidden chambers and a moving platform to take us down to the lower levels. We thought we found the inner sanctum, but instead we found hell itself under our very feet. I knew what it was the moment I saw it. Hellgate from the old stories. I begged the lore masters to leave it alone, but they were lost in the machines. I doubt they heard a word what I said. And so I left them to their fate. Few men went with me, but most stayed there. The the ground shook, I knew the fools had awakened the machines. Then we heard the first screams. We knew better than to go back and try to save anyone. That why you've never tried to find the temple again? Changed something in me. I mean, we've all heard stories about the olden days, but when they became real right before your eyes, you start thinking, what other stories are real? What if Galius is right to fear the artifacts? Maybe we really should lock them up and throw away the key. I hope you never find it.
Yeah, I was wondering if your character was going to connect it to the Raiders story, because it's obviously about the same place.
I thought he also said it was Hellgate, or that he'd heard about Hellgate.
Yes.
Same fate befell my men. It's probably their skull and bones that he'd seen there. Most of my men dead. We couldn't continue even if we wanted to. But I can assure you, we lost our taste for adventure in that accursed place. What about the other group that went south? Never heard from them again. I assume they're all dead, much like the rest of the expedition. Do you remember where the Temple in the Mountains was? Somewhere northeast of here, a few weeks' journey, maybe more. I wish I could be more help, but my job was to keep us moving forward and secure the temple, not to fiddle with an astrolabe. Whose job was it? Gaius Lavinius. Best cartographer I've ever worked with, but I'm not sure he can help you much either. He was with me all the way, and it changed him too. He stayed with me for a year, mostly staring blankly and talking to himself, then went to Gamazar. What else can you tell me? I've often wondered about the map itself over the years. I've seen a fair number of them, and none were made by a cartographer. My guess is they were made by the temple's acolytes. They did their best, but they didn't really know what they were doing. My question is why? It's almost as if they knew that something was coming, and were told to make maps to ensure the temple will be found one day. Thanks for your help. When you step outside, you're immediately surrounded by the Aurelian guards. They aren't hostile, at least not yet. Praetor steps forward and gives you an appraising look. Lord Galius desires the pleasure of your company, he says formally. It would be most unwise to refuse the invitation, he adds after a pause. Yeah, alright. Let's go.
I need you to make the implicit death threat explicit.
Yeah, it would be most unwise to refuse. And if I refuse, it would be most unwise. You enter the main hall. At the far end of it, Lord Galius holds court, receiving daily visitors in the order of their importance. A row of guards form a barrier between the lord of the house and the petitioners, with blank stares on their faces. Okay, that looks like two guards. I don't know if that's a row. A pair. Another row forms a semicircle around Galius, their eyes constantly scanning the crowd.
I mean, I see 7 guards in the picture.
Well, there were 2 in a row between. I mean, there were some off to the side and off to the...
Well, look. Maybe they're looking at rows the other way.
That's not between him and the petitioners.
No, it's not.
So, Antitas still wants to find the temple. Doesn't learn, does he? Asks Galius. He speaks like a true statesman, addressing the audience rather than speaking directly to you. Last time he sent a small army. This time he sent you. Are you that good? Or is Antitas that desperate? What business is it of yours, my lord? Austeratan isn't your vassal, and doesn't require your approval. Oh, he's got a purple cape on. Oh, they're purple. Everything's purple here. Well, you know. Careful, Praetor, says Galius, managing to contain his anger. You're in my city now, and you'll have to play by my rules, whether you like it or not. You will stay here as my personal guest till I decide what to do with you. You dare take me as your prisoner? As my guest, Praetor. Prisoners usually go to the dungeons, whereas you will be given all the courtesies befitting a man of your status. I'm sure you'll be able to recognize the difference. Spend the next few days locked in one of the rooms in the east wing of the palace, waiting for Galus to determine your fate and wondering what it might be. This when you begin to realize that making you disappear is the best option for Galus, no matter how you look at it. The door opens, 2 guards step inside, glancing around. Naturally, they seem strange to you. Anyone would at this point. We're just making sure that everything is in order, says one of them, showing no signs of hostility. Perception. One looks like a fighting man accustomed to relying only on his own skills. Such a man wouldn't work as a palace guard, no matter the pay. The other one looks too shifty to be a guard. If they aren't here for you, whom are they after? Some dignitaries? It was much easier to get to them outside the palace. Could it be Gallius himself? To say that his enemies would be an understatement. Let's do nothing. A steward wakes you up, waits until you get dressed, and then informs you that you're no longer a prisoner and thus free to leave whenever you wish. Really? I did take your lord for a forgiving kind. He has more pressing concerns at the moment, informs your steward. The river Styx is boiling hot this time of year. What happened? He didn't survive the night, says the steward, annoyed that he has to explain something that should be obvious. You're fortunate that nobody's holding you accountable. I had nothing to do with it. Be that
doesn't
as
matter.
it may. Yeah, protocol demands that the culprit be seized, brought to justice. In my experience, foreign agents who arrive shortly before a calamity strikes make excellent and most convincing culprits. So who rules Madarin now? Lord Serenus the Victorious, aided by his most faithful servants, Lady Lorenza of House Calony, Lord Senna, and Master Strabos. The goddess Pavola of the Imperial Guards has been entrusted with keeping peace in the city. Alright, we saw all these these 3 people's villas in the Palace District. Strabos is the lore master they mentioned. I guess that's the head of the Imperial Guard contingent here. What can you tell me about them? Steward looks at you strangely, as if shocked to meet someone so ignorant. Lord Serenus is a nephew to late Lord Gallius. He's the most noble young man, undoubtedly destined for great things. Lady Lorenza brings much experience in the area of city politics to the table. Lord Senna has the support of many lords of the court, and Master Strabos, the famed guild master of the Commercio. Oh, that's right, he's the leader of the Commercio, not the Lord Master. I knew we'd heard the name. Is without equal when it comes to managing financial affairs and keeping the coffers full. In other words, Serenus is a puppet, and the advisors take turns pulling the strings, while everyone else pretends that it's business as usual. What's so unusual about this arrangement, Praetor? Well, where does this new regime stand with House Daraton? I wouldn't expect anything to change in the future, as it would be most disrespectful to our late lord. Unlike assassinating him, which I'm sure was done in accordance to the protocol. Quite so, Praetor. What's the difference between the new regime and the old one? Lord Gallius has had nothing to prove to anyone. I wouldn't expect the new regime to be as confident. I'd like to make my introduction to Lord Serenus. Can you take me to him? Certainly. A word of advice, Praetor. Funds are of essence during transition periods, so if you want to make a good first impression, a generous gift wouldn't go amiss. How generous are we talking about? We're talking about the Lord of House Aurelian. Offering less than 2,000 Imperials would be an insult. I really don't want to offer him 2,000 Imperials.
Yeah.
If I don't have the money, perhaps one of the advisors might be of service to you. Oh. Okay, interesting. Negotiate peace between House Aurelian and House Daratan by making an alliance with one of these people. And presumably, they will fund you the 2,000 if you're trying to go to somebody other than Serenus immediately.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Save the game.
I am curious, what happens if you try and kill the assassins?
Right, presumably, if you live, Gallius doesn't die. Well, he probably still does, right? Because
Like
I don't
that's
know.
why I'm wondering, because like that's a major that feels like a major landscape shift. Like
Right.
whether you would be able to just prevent that shift
Hmm.
is interesting, because like
Yeah.
that has at the very least like the possibility to like be pretty significant. And like this is the sort of game where like they're trying to do the whole uh whatever things you do in a chapter do have carryover
Hmm.
impacts on
Yeah.
various stuff. But like I'm not sure if they would
Right.
do something this big.
Well, and maybe it is because like it is impactful to the overall like sort of political shape of the world,
Mhm.
but it may not be impactful to you because
That's
like
true.
if you're not a
But
praetor of Daratan, if you're just some guy,
mhm.
it may not matter to you. Like you
But
probably
like
still have to like basically you probably still need something from Galius, like you or whoever is in charge of the house. Like there's probably some form of this, but
mhm.
it must play so differently if you're not already allied with uh
House Daratan.
yeah,
Yeah, like
or in one of the other, groups
that's
in
part of what I was wondering, because like theoretically you can probably get the quest that sends you to find the temple while you're in uh, what was the actual town's name? Terran or something?
Terran, yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think
Um,
the map is like the main quest that everyone ends up on. Like
okay.
getting
I
is going to look for this thing by some means. You end up in
gotcha.
possession of this, is my understanding.
Okay, I wasn't
Uh,
sure if it was like one of those quests that you didn't necessarily have to do. So you do probably end up in this situation regardless.
right, Domitius just said we need to go to Ganazar now, right? So I don't know
Yeah.
if this is like, can I technically just go to the world map and leave? Oh, I think you can.
Oh, that's
I
huh.
think you could just leave and just not deal with this situation. So
You
yeah,
should pop a save and go to Ganazar, because I think that will probably give you like the end of act
I'm
stuff.
curious if it does. Yeah.
Because like you have not resolved this situation, and it is significantly
Oh
impactful
yeah,
to
you better talk to
Daratan.
Cernus before you leave. His lordship won't wait for you forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is telling you like stuff will happen if you just leave.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see. Uh yeah, this is like the end of act thing. Okay.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there would be. Obviously couldn't read the first page, which was
Right,
about
no,
Guy who's
I
demise.
was just kind of like, okay, it's some stuff about that, but I'll just skip through it just to
Sure.
see what yeah, and then you get the new stuff. Okay. I don't want to. We'll find out later.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay. Um, yeah, the branching stuff, like to what degree is how does all the branching stuff works is something that I am very curious about with this game because it seems like it's a lot. It's
Yeah.
pretty.
Like actually, you could leave the first chapter before getting the map, because like when you went to the smelter, you had the option to ally with House uh,
Right, that is
Aurelius,
true.
I think, and that was
So
before you would have ever gotten
they,
that quest.
yeah, that's true. I don't know how that works then, because you must get it somehow.
Yeah.
Um,
Or maybe it's something that like because you're explicitly like trying to align yourself with Aurelius by doing that, you have the option to essentially like get pointed towards it by him.
Right, right. No, that's that's what I was thinking. Is you must come up that way. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we got this from there. We recovered this from Daratan or something.
Hmm.
Well, I wonder. Yeah, actually, I wonder if you power it up for them, does the end of act stuff just like they just overrun Terran? They just like take control of Terran probably.
I mean,
I didn't read it, so I don't remember.
yeah. I could go look at your
Uh,
VOD from last time
yeah,
and just pause it.
yeah. But that wouldn't surprise me if that's what happens.
Yeah, there was
So then,
definitely some like the house falls sorts of
right.
situation in there.
So yeah, maybe then Gillis gets the map and then is like, go figure this out. I don't know. Well, I think this is a good place to stop. We will figure out what to do with this next. Go talk to these people, the
Yeah,
new power brokers, um, next week. So
yeah. I'm really enjoying this game. It's neat.
it is neat. Yeah. All right. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Hope to see you next time. Have a good day.
Good night.